Hey guys, it's Tyler here, and today I'm going to show you guys how to draw folds in clothing. Kind of like folds, wrinkles, whatever you call it. I already filmed this video before, but what happened was I overexposed it because I'm a baka and I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm going to redraw this and I'm going to explain step by step what I do when I'm drawing folds in clothing. And for me, I feel like every artist does this technique differently. So I'm just kind of going to explain the underlying techniques and then how I like to draw folds in clothing. And I don't really like to add very many folds or like folds at all in my clothing. It's pretty simple the way I do it. So let's get started. Okay, so first thing what I'm going to do is I draw out the body, right? I know this isn't really a tutorial for drawing bodies and stuff, but I just decided to just do it in the video, might as well. Okay, so after we have the body drawn out, the way I like to draw clothing is kind of like, not loose, but kind of like lazy. I know, I shouldn't be lazy. What I do is I kind of just start out, let's say we're gonna draw like a dress shirt, right? I love starting out with the collar first, mostly because collars just bother me and I want to get rid of them. So let's start with the folds now. Over here there isn't very much gathering of fabric like around here and here, so I kind of just leave that area alone. Like I'd only do maybe one fold and that's it. But the most areas that have folds are where the fabric gathers, so like right at the armpit, the elbow, and right here. So these three areas will have a lot of folds, and that's pretty much all you need, like really in general, to know is that areas where a lot of like cloth gathers is where it's going to have a lot of folds. So I don't really like to have too much detail here because it just bothers me. So I pretty much kind of just start there to get rid of it and then go down. If your shirt is really intricate in the shoulder areas, then there's probably going to be some folds, but literally there's nothing there, so it just lays there, and there won't be any like lines kind of showing, you know, movement or anything like that. Over here I'm not really going to do anything either. I mean, you could draw a line showing the fabric getting pulled down like this, but again, I told you guys I don't really care about that, so my drawing for fabric is really simple. I mostly draw a lot of lines over here where a lot of the fabric gathers, like this. Actually, yeah, let's have that line there since it's pretty simple. It's too simple here. And then right over here, I said earlier that this is where a lot of the fabric gathers as well. So I'm just kind of going to draw a line like this, kind of showing that the shirt is draping onto him. Like that. And then I'm going to add a line here. And hopefully the exposure is not too bright so you guys can see. And fabric getting pulled like that. So this is pretty much all I do. I do 1, 2, 3, 4 areas of line. You can add some here to show that the collar is kind of pushing the fabric down. But like, who cares, right guys? No, I'm just kidding. So a thing to note, what I did here was I didn't add too many lines, and I did add varying lines showing some connections and stuff like that. Mostly what you want to do is study fabric. Just look at your shirt, for example. Like, here's my sleeve, right? Do you see how like there are a lot of folds, but they mostly show that it's getting pulled towards here because I'm twisting it. So you can tell I'm twisting it because it's kind of curving around. So that's what you want to note, kind of how the shirt or the cloth is being pulled. So for example, we have a towel hanging on this rack, right? Right here. So we're going to kind of show that it's draping over by doing this. You know what I mean? Like this kind of thing, you need to kind of study it. If you hang a towel, wait, is it showing you guys even? If you hang a towel on a nail, for example, like this, then you need to show that it's kind of hanging over. And this kind of thing is like something you kind of have to study. And you can tell I didn't really do much of that. No, I'm just kidding. Like that, for example. Do you know what I mean? So like you have to look at different ways fabric gets pulled and twisted and stuff like that to be able to work it into clothing here. And since I like to do it really simple, I only add a scrunch here, a pull here, and another scrunch here, and then a pull here. So those are like the key things, scrunch and pull. Those are the things that I use the most in my drawings. Okay, so now on to clothing folds in pants and skirts. So what I like to do with pants, like, it's pretty simple. Like, I kind of just target certain areas. So let's say we draw some regular pants like this. It's gonna be some high-waisted pants or something, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, the point with this is that when I'm drawing pants, I focus on folds right in this area, in the crotch area. So like while I'm drawing it out, I would make a lot of wrinkles here. And then 1 or 2 here. And then kind of just like cinch it all. And so do you see how like over here it shows that it's getting like kind of cinched around like this? So that's what I like to do. I focus mainly on this area right here and here. And then when I go down like on the pants, I don't really add very many folds as I go down. But it's really important to remember where the stretch and where the scrunch is. So in this case, the stretch is down here and the scrunch is up here. Scrunch, stretch, scrunch, right there. So those are like the 2 things that I keep in mind while I'm drawing folds. And then in this case, like if I'm doing a skirt, there isn't very much scrunching, but let's say there's like kind of like a belt on the skirt like this. And then we draw the basic shape of the skirt. So when I'm drawing a skirt like this, I would mostly start with making the folds, or not folds, but kind of like the scrunching in the skirt here. And draw out the belt. And then while I draw out the skirt, do you notice how there's kind of like an indent here? It doesn't go straight attached, because I want to show that the belt is kind of scrunching it all together. And then let's shorten that. And what I do is I don't add much lines to the skirt, I just add more shading. So if I were to shade this skirt, I would start like shading it like this with these kind of triangles right here. And there wouldn't be very much lines. I just kind of want to show that, you know, it's a flowy skirt. And in other cases, if I were to draw like a big poofy skirt, I would like, let's draw the bottom of the skirt. I would do like these kind of loops right here, and then I would add more lines like that. Like this. And shade that there, and shade right here. So I'm going to just kind of outline exactly what's going on here. So the dark parts, like the parts in gray or whatever this color is, the parts in gray over here in the skirt are ones that I would for sure draw lines for. And then these light lines here are what I would do for shading right here. So that's what I pretty much would do. In different skirts, there are different kinds of like folds that you can do. And I might just make a separate video for like skirts in general because there are just so many types. But in general with folds, I would pretty much just make cinches and stretches. So let's say in a sleeve how it's stretched out here, see? I would just draw a straight line showing that there's a pull of the fabric here and there's a scrunch of the fabric here. I know I always do weird hands, but it helps me kind of like show what's going on. Like I switched my shirt, but see how like when I stretch it like this, do you see there's like a line like this getting stretched? It shows the pull. So that's what I mean like with this kind of thing. It shows the pull from the sleeve, from the seam right here, and then over here it would show a scrunch. Like if I scrunch this like that, see? That's pretty much what I'm doing in these two areas. So it's really nice. What I recommend for you guys at home is to look at your own clothing, take a picture, or look at fabric around your home, a blanket on your bed or something, and try to draw it so you can get an idea of how like fabric folds and how it's shaded and how light kind of like morphs with it. It's really cool if you just look at it in real life and kind of practice with it. So that's one thing I recommend for you guys. And a key thing is to remember, again, sorry, I'm going to keep repeating myself, but it's really important to remember the scrunches and the stretches. Those are the two main things when you're drawing clothing. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!